Hey guys, and welcome to another review. Today we're going to do our comprehensive review of this beautiful little gun here, the Azodin KPC. We did an overview, we did a shooting video, but now that we've had this and been able to put a bunch of paint through it and mess around with it a good bit, we can talk about our actual verdict. So this is Azodin's newest entry in the pump market. It's a good one. It's a little bit different than their flagship pump, the KP3, and we'll talk about that. So, when you get this in the mail, what you can expect is this little nice little box. It will fit in a priority flat rate box, so it's nice to know for shipping. You get some laser cut foam, so keep it nice and snug during shipping. You don't have to worry about this getting all dinged up and having worn edges. This came perfect. You'll get your standard Azodin barrel bag, little parts kit with some O-rings. I'll also have an extra, just over here, I have an extra cup seal with valve stem in it. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And you'll get your Allen keys to change every Allen screw on the gun. So let's talk about the features. Oh, also you get your warranty card and your manual, which covers all your basic maintenance, your warranty card, and parts list and all that good stuff is in the manual too. So let's talk about the features real quick. You adjust your velocity right here. It does not have an adjustable HPR, whereas the KP3 does. The difference is this has their new fixed feather regulator. I think it's the same one that you find on the Blitz 3, and it has a slightly higher operating pressure than the KP3. I think this one's somewhere around 400, whereas the KP3 is a little over 200. So you might think offhand, well, that's going to be harder on paint. It's going to have a worse, louder sound signature, and it might have a little more kick. We'll get into all that momentarily. Spoiler alert: this is a great shooter, even though it runs at a slightly higher operating pressure than the KP3. What's nice about this, because at first I wasn't so sure that this was something that I could see much of a market for when this is already out. But we'll do a real quick comparison here so you can see side by side. You have your 3, you have your C. Their bodies are the same size. The guts are basically the same. There's some slight differences, and we'll talk about that. The trigger frames are the same, I think. Generally they feel about the same. With this, you're going to have more adjustability. The 3 does not come with this Hitman mod from the factory. It also has an adjustable HPR, on-off ASA, dual pump rods, and a lever lock clamping feed neck. Alright, so those are the goods with the KP3. You can see I got some wear on mine. This I shoot a lot. I love this gun. So that gives you a little perspective as to where I'm coming from. It also comes with a matching 2-piece barrel with 685 and 681 backs. Now, that costs $50 to $60 more than this new. This new does come with a Hitman mod. It's reversible. It can go either way. I just like it this way. It's personal preference. So that's something that you don't get with the KP3. That's about the only thing this has over its stock. As you'll see, this does have a clamping feed neck, but it's not a lever lock like the KP3. It is a little Allen key adjustment to tighten it. That's fine. This also has 1 rod versus 2 rods. You might think that that would give you like a real wobbly. It really doesn't. This has a tiny bit of flex in it. Let's pull this bad boy up. So does this. The pump stroke on this is beautiful. The pump stroke on this is also very nice. This isn't as worn in as that. There was a little friction out of the box because this wasn't lubed at these 2 points. If you get one of these, throw a little lube right there on those 2 guides. It should make all the difference in the world. This actually has a really smooth pump stroke. I like the KP3 a tad more in terms of pump stroke, but I actually prefer this little pump handle, and a lot of people were complaining that it's too small. However, I hold my pump, when I'm holding the pump handle, typically I'll use just the mod, right? But if I'm using the pump handle, you'll see it is super comfortable. My hand fits around it. It just feels good. Mostly because with this Hitman mod, it's kind of like having like an AR foregrip, you know, minus the little web here. But you sort of, it really works for me. Whereas with the 3, and like I said, since I typically use the Hitman mod, it's not a thing for me. But the edges on this, they just don't feel as like ergonomic for me. It's going to be personal preference. You may like it, you may not. I do like that it's a matching anodized aluminum. That's nice. The ano on this is very clean. It matches universally. Even the Hitman mod, which is a different finish than the rest of the gun, they could have got away with black with that, but it works with the color too, and it matches really well. There's no, I couldn't find any blems or anything like that in the ano. I guess that's another point of contention. The ano on this is, you're gonna have a two-tone unless you get black with these, and they have some nice polished finish pieces that you do not get on the KPC. It is all dust. Again, that's a personal preference. Some people love dust. I like dust. So that's that. I said we'd get back to it later, so we'll talk about it now. This is your spare cup seal and valve stem. And what happens is, in some instances, because this is not adjustable and you're only adjusting your velocity through the hammer spring, if there's ever an instance where, depending on a variety of factors, paint size, what kind of air source you're using, because this can work, this reg is designed for CO2 or HPA, so there's that. If you can't get it up to velocity with the cup seal and valve stem that's in there, they give you another one with a slightly different design that will allow different flow and achieve a higher velocity. So how does it shoot? Well, we did a shooting video, and you can just follow the little link that's appearing on your screen in a second. It shoots great. The pump stroke is really smooth. The actual feel of the gun while it fires, its signature feel, kick, whatever, however you want to say it, it's really smooth. It feels good. It feels very similar to a KP3, not identical, extremely similar. If I didn't have both and I didn't shoot them both extensively, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. I think it might be due to it just running at a little bit of a higher pressure. Has about the same sound signature. It kind of makes that crack fut when it fires. It shoots phenomenally well for the price. One of the things I like, and you know, I've had some people say, oh, well, why don't KP3 is only 50, 60 bucks more. Why don't you just get a KP3? KP3 might not be for everybody when you have this on the market, because A, if you're on a budget, under $200 for this pump is a bargain. It really is, you know, and you can argue, oh, you can get a used sniper for that, or you can get a used. You're not comparing used to new. Don't do that, it's stupid. If you're gonna compare something, compare new to new or used to used. For under $200, you get a really nice shooting pump gun without much investment. This will be reliable, it's consistent, it's really good looking, and it ticks all the boxes for what you'd expect out of a good pump. You have a one-piece barrel, it's a .685, which is nice to not have, you know, a big bore barrel. 685 is still a little bit big for me locally, just because a lot of the fields use paint that's typically in like the 682, 681 range. So that second barrel that comes with barrel back with the KP3 is really nice for me on that. But if I was gonna, you know, this is totally usable as it is with this, and you don't have to worry about non-barrel rollouts because you do have dual detents, just like on the KP3. I love about this the fact that it is extremely low maintenance. I think that's probably the biggest thing this has going for it. If you want a pump, or you know someone who wants a pump, but someone who's either doesn't know how to fiddle with guns, or general maintenance, or just isn't good at it, they don't like it, they don't know how, they don't like taking stuff apart, whatever. This is a good buy because you can't really screw it up. You can't over adjust your reg or over tighten it, damage a reg seat, whatever. It's also, you know, when you have an adjustable reg, you have more parts in your reg, you have more O-rings, just things, you know, in that screw-in even, you know. Your ASA, this is a nice little dovetail mounted ASA on the bottom of the frame. It's not an on-off, you know. KP3 has an on-off. That might not be, you know, it's not a big deal at all. It shouldn't be to anybody because, I mean, it's a convenience factor more than anything. But you have a lack of a piston and an O-ring to go bad there that you would have in the KP3. You don't have macro line that can blow out. You know, you have this nice hard braided stuff. You could replace this if you want with macro. There's still a nice little swivel mount in there. It looks like a swivel collar. But you're cutting out a lot of these points of, you know, problems. But you're maintaining the same functionality. So that'd be my review. That'd be my verdict. Is I love this. It shoots awesome. It looks awesome. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles that you would get out of, you know, your KP3s, but it is still a spectacular value. It comes loaded with features, you know, maybe not as adjustable as the KP3 or some of the bells and whistles, but features. It does have a clamping feed neck. It's just not a lever lock. It does have a nice ASA. It just doesn't have a screw for an on-off. It does have a good reg. There you have it, folks. Go out, check them out. Go nuts, enjoy, and subscribe. Thanks, guys.